Mainstream history tells us that human civilization began around 4000 BCE with societies like ancient Sumer. That's what's covered in your typical history textbook. Around 6,000 years of what we call recorded history. But what often goes unmentioned is how immense the time before that, prehistory, really is. According to conventional views, prehistoric humans lived in small nomadic groups, hunting and gathering, intelligent but not forming complex societies or building cities. Yet we know that anatomically modern humans, identical to us, have existed for at least 315,000 years, possibly even longer. This means a staggering 98.5% of our time on Earth falls outside the written record. In other words, everything we know about civilization comes from just the last 1.5% of our history. So, what took us so long to develop cities, writing, and technology? The usual explanation is that civilization emerged thanks to the warmer conditions following the last ice age. This stable climate allowed for agriculture, permanent settlements, and social complexity. But here's the twist: our current warm period, the Holocene, isn't unique. It's happened before. The previous interglacial warm period, known as the Eemian, occurred between 130,000 and 115,000 years ago. It was warmer than today and lasted longer than our current warm stretch. By that time, modern humans had already existed for nearly 200,000 years. So why couldn't civilization have developed back then? The conditions were ideal: stable, warm, and long-lasting. We had the time and the brains. If we agree that a stable climate enabled the rise of civilization in the Holocene, wouldn't it be logical to consider that a similar process might have occurred during the Eemian? Here's where it gets even more intriguing. According to scientific research, if our modern civilization were to vanish tomorrow, most of its traces would disappear within 10,000 years. Only a handful of durable stone structures like the pyramids or Mount Rushmore might still stand. Go back 100,000 years and the evidence would be nearly non-existent. Sure, nuclear weapons might leave a faint plutonium signature, but outside of that, almost nothing. Now imagine a civilization as advanced as ours, or even slightly less so, existing over 100,000 years ago. Would we be able to find any trace of it today? Probably not. Complicating things further is the fact that over 80% of Earth's surface is covered in jungle, desert, or ocean. Much of what could hold answers lies beneath the sea. Vast coastal areas where humans likely would have settled are now underwater due to shifting sea levels. Then there's Earth's violent past. Catastrophic events like volcanic eruptions and comet impacts have left their mark while humans have been around. One such event, the eruption of Mount Toba about 74,000 years ago, is believed to have triggered a volcanic winter, reducing the human population to possibly just 10,000 individuals. So let's recap. Modern humans have been around for hundreds of thousands of years. We've only documented about 1% of our existence. We know how quickly civilization's footprint can vanish. And we know that global cataclysms capable of erasing all traces of civilization have happened repeatedly throughout history. Now ask yourself, does it really seem far-fetched to think that civilizations might have risen and fallen long before our current one? And maybe, just maybe, we've already found their shadows. Across the globe, myths tell of golden ages and great cataclysms. Ancient stories from Sumer, Egypt, India, and Mesoamerica speak of advanced societies lost to floods, fire, and other disasters. We also have ancient stone structures that defy explanation. The cave complexes of Longyu, the precision of Pumapunku, the mysteries of Sacsayhuaman, and of course the pyramids. Many of these constructions remain baffling in terms of who built them and how. Then there's Göbekli Tepe, a site so old and so sophisticated it challenges everything we thought we knew about prehistoric people. Mainstream archaeology often downplays these anomalies because they don't fit the accepted narrative. Ancient king lists from Egypt and Sumer contain dynasties stretching back into what is usually labeled myth. Could these be memories, echoes of a forgotten chapter in human history? What if human civilization isn't linear but cyclical? What if, like a flower that blooms in spring and dies in winter, civilization flourishes in warm periods and then collapses when Earth shifts again? This idea makes a lot more sense than the notion that humans did nothing significant for 99% of our existence, and then suddenly created everything in the last sliver of time. Part of the issue is recency bias. We assume our time is normal, but it isn't. The current warm period is the exception, not the rule. Earth's default state is cold, harsh, and unstable. If civilization did rise before, it would have been wiped out, and we'd likely never know. This concept isn't just academic. It has real implications. If civilization rose before and fell, then it can fall again. In fact, history suggests it inevitably will. We're already overdue for a return to glacial conditions. Our focus on global warming, while important, often distracts from the fact that global cooling is the real long-term threat. We've seen what even a minor cooling can do. The Little Ice Age, which lasted from roughly the 14th to 19th centuries, led to famine, disease, and social unrest. The Great Famine of 1315 was triggered by just a few years of cold and rain. Agricultural collapse followed. Societies weakened. Innovation stalled. Yet during the warm periods like the medieval warm period, Europe flourished. Agriculture thrived. Populations grew. Trade expanded. Art and architecture reached new heights. Warmth brings stability and abundance. Cold brings crisis and collapse. And that was nothing compared to a full ice age. If our current warm era ends, how would modern civilization cope? Would we adapt? Or would we fall as perhaps others have before us? So, is it really such a crazy thought that past warm periods also saw the rise of civilizations? Maybe they didn't leave behind skyscrapers or space programs, but who's to say they weren't advanced in their own ways, scientifically, spiritually, or socially? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have I missed something? Is this just wild speculation? Or is it a theory worth pondering? Drop your insights in the comments below. If you found this thought experiment as fascinating as I do, please consider giving this video a like or subscribing to the channel. Until next time, stay curious.